everyone, I am your astrologer Wonder Girl, taking you to new heights, and today we are going to talk about the new moon in Aquarius happening on February 4th, 2019. I have at 1:03 p.m. Pacific time, or what is that, 4:03 p.m. Eastern time. I'm going to talk about what this new moon is all about, what it means, and some of the significant aspects that it is making to me. I think this new moon is really all about stepping into some new and different vision of our future that we've been working out for quite some time. And now is the time at this new moon to start to see the future more clearly than you've ever seen it before, especially in recent months, and to be more, I don't know if confident is the word, but to get more excited about what that direction in life is. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Before I get started, I do just want to say thank you all so much for all your very kind comments on my videos. I always love hearing from you all, hearing your stories, so I do appreciate it. Thank you so much for all of your support that you show me. I love it. It warms my heart, some of your comments, so I do appreciate it. What I am going to start doing back again, since I'm not sure if I'm going to do my weekly videos as much as I would like to do them consistently. So what I'm going to start doing again is my monthly webinars. If you want to tune in to see what's going to happen for you this next month in the astrology and to get more information than what I share here in these videos. I am going to change my monthly webinars up a little bit though. They're not going to be based on the actual calendar months. They're going to be based on the moon. So this is going to be a new moon in Aquarius webinar that's going to go until the next new moon that we have in Pisces. And it's going to cover all the moon phases there, because to me, if you really want to make things happen in your life and manifest greatness, you need to do it by the moons. None of this calendar business, okay? Calendars are good for work. Calendars are good for practical matters, but when it comes to using the energy in order to create the life of your dreams, this new moon, you got to do it according to where the moon is and what's happening there. So I'm of course going to talk about the new moon more in more detail in other ways. I'm going to talk about the first quarter moon, the full moon, the third quarter moon as well. I'm going to pull out important days too in between all of those moons that might be super powerful, that might be very, very good for you, or might provide a little bit of a challenge so that you can learn more about that. This next month with the new moon in Aquarius is going to be very, very interesting, because we do have Venus now moving into Capricorn in the same exact spot that Mercury was as I'm speaking at this time. And Venus is going to be the last planet to pass this craziness in Capricorn, Saturn, Pluto, and the South Node for good until the next year when all these planets start to come back around again. Okay, and what this means to me is that this next month, this new moon, the moon in Aquarius, that moon cycle is really going to be all about taking the things that you were thinking about this past month, about your life, about where you want your life to go, and taking these new relationships and these new resources and putting your money where your mouth is, and starting to figure out how you can finally, once and for all, overcome the past, overcome old habits, and finally move on with a new lease on life, being a new person, seeing things differently. And I think we're getting there. If you've been watching me for a while, you know I keep saying you got to clean out the past, make your peace with the past, get better understanding of the past so that it doesn't bog you down, it doesn't hurt you anymore. We are getting so close to where that's actually going to be true. And in the past few months, it's been cleaning things out bit by bit by bit by bit. And once we get to February, and also once we get to March, that new moon in Pisces with that Mercury retrograde very close to Chiron, where Chiron's been for the past few years, we're going to start to feel here that our life is in a very different spot now than it was a while ago. And this next few weeks here at this new moon in Aquarius, which I'm going to talk about in my webinar, is really all about arranging your relationships and arranging your money in a major way to clear out old relationship habits, old money habits, and to do things differently. And the question that comes up here is, are you ready for the task? Are you willing to do things differently once and for all to clear out the last few remnants of an old life to step into something new? Or are you going to be afraid here and stuck in the past? Relationships and money, because of that, this month could be a little bit tumultuous, very, very intense, but could also be very necessary that they are that way, so that you can own up to what you need to do at this point in time, the person you're about to become and move into a very new and different future, which I'm about to talk about. Okay, so if you're interested in that webinar, again, down below in my description box, you can find the link there. I'll probably do it around February 1st or so, the very end of this month. If you want to meet me, you'll see me live. You can ask me questions about anything really, and I'll go through the month and give you some important dates and information. Now, for your horoscope, sorry, I talked about a lot there. I already gave you a sneak peek of the new moon in Aquarius, and then I gave you a sneak peek as well the next month. But I'm going to go now to some of the details here. Let's get the chart. I always like to place the moon on the chart first, just so you can see it. Here's the new moon in Aquarius. How do I know it's a new moon? Because the sun and the moon are exactly together at the same degree, in the same sign, in the same place. It's a new moon. It's not an eclipse because now the south node is a little bit further away. Okay, so it's not going to have as much impact perhaps as an eclipse would have, but it's still very, very important for our growth. And this one I think is going to be super special. The reason why I think this new moon is going to be super special, because this is the first time that we have had a new moon in the sign of Aquarius in the past year and a half without an eclipse being there, because the nodes move backwards. So even though the nodal axis just moved into Cancer and Capricorn a few months ago, before it was in Cancer and Capricorn, the nodal axis spent a year and a half in Leo and Aquarius. And the nodal axis, even though it can bring much fated change, is kind of stressful. Can be a little bit stressful for a sign. It can be hard, maybe especially if you were a Leo or an Aquarius, to relax, because there is so much karma, so much fated events, so many rearranging things in your life that need to happen. So now we're here at the first new moon in Aquarius. After the nodes are gone, all this fated rearranging in these two signs pertaining to these two areas are now over, so that we can come into these signs and have a different perspective that feels much better than the past. And what is our new perspective on now this new moon? I always like to think about the signs. It's a new moon in Aquarius. What does Aquarius rule? The future. Aquarius is the most forward-thinking sign of the zodiac. It thinks about the future. What is to come? What are my goals? What are my dreams? Blue sky thinking. You like my blue? It's all about, if the world is your oyster, the world could be anything. What do you want it to be? What do you want it to be? And what can you see down the road? So we're having a new beginning here in what our future looks like and in what our goals and dreams are for that future. May not be here right now, but for what we ultimately want our future to be, so that we can start to direct our steps in that way. Also, Aquarius rules friends. So it could be also a time where we're starting to realize we need new friends, need to associate with new people that are more authentic to us, that get us. If it's not new friends, maybe it's we have our old friends that we need to work with in new and different ways, so that our friends see us now as this new person living this different life in this different set of circumstances. That could also be coming up here too, needing to rearrange, change your friend group to be something new or different. Although I think most of the rearranging and changing should have already been done for the most part. Needing to step into some new friend group, step into some new vision for your future, step into some new goals and dreams. Also, Aquarius too, I like to think, rules your higher mind. It's like the higher octave of Mercury. It takes Mercury to the heavens, to a higher spot. So this could also be a great opportunity too for you to get great insights about your life, about where your life is going, things that may have previously been hidden to you, to your mind. I think this new moon in Aquarius can help to shed some light on in some way, and to help you connect with those things that are happening. You know, Aquarius is ruled by the symbol, the water bearer, which could be a little bit confusing because Aquarius is an air sign. It's not a water sign. Yet the symbol for Aquarius has water in it. And the way that I think of the water in Aquarius is the spirit, water of the higher mind. In order for us to get insights about things intellectually, I think there is a spiritual alchemy, a spiritual process that needs to occur. And what happens here in Aquarius is that it engages the spirit, the higher mind, to then help you to get that very different perspective on your life that can actually be very life-giving. And I think that's what's happening here. The eclipses were in Leo and Aquarius for the past year and a half, meaning our vision of the future has changed drastically. Where the direction our life is now going in is nothing at all like we thought it would be before a year and a half ago, before the eclipses entered these signs. And so the past year and a half, that's been a big thing. We've been trying to figure out, where do I want my life to go? What makes me happy? And we had to scrap an old goal or dream of ours because we realized it wasn't actually what we enjoyed and what we wanted anymore. So we got rid of that, and now this new moon in Aquarius, it's helping us to settle into some new vision of our future based on new and different things that are finally true to our heart and what we desire, and we're starting to move in that direction with more clarity, okay? So that's what's happening there, and to understand what our spirit and soul needs, and to get the higher perspective on our journey so far and on where we're going from now, okay? I kind of backed into that a little bit there, but what I'm trying to say, just to recap really quickly, the direction our life is now going in is changing in a big way, and the big part of why it's changing is because we've now realized there are some things that our heart needs that makes us happy that we were not living in accordance to in the past. We were not living in accordance to our true heart's desire, and as a result we had to change the direction our life is going in, and we had to change the future that we saw for ourselves. And now that a lot of that has been initiated, since the nodes have moved out of those signs, we're starting to live and to move forward in this new direction with more clarity than ever before, with more stability now that things aren't up and down, and with more of an understanding of what that is. All right, that's where we are. I also really love what's going on at this new moon too, because it's in a conjunction with Mercury, also in Aquarius. So this is very good for the mind, for thinking, and it can give you a new perspective on life. A new way of thinking about your life can be very, very refreshing. Can also breathe new life into your conversations with other people. If you want to think of Mercury as ruling our mind, how we think, talk, and communicate. So it's a very good time to think and communicate, especially with friends, about your goals and dreams in very different ways that can be very refreshing and very life-giving as well. So I like that. Another reason why I like this new moon is because it's also making a sextile over here to Jupiter in Sagittarius, and a sextile to Mars in Aries. So this sextile to Jupiter in Sagittarius is helping us to get excited about some new or different vision for our future. Sagittarius is the sign of something new and exciting. Jupiter is at home in Sagittarius. So Jupiter also brings things that are new and exciting. And I think what we're starting to do here is to feel more of the passion come back to our life about some new direction that our life is going in, with some new people, some new dreams and goals. And for us to really say, you know what? This is new, this is different, I'm excited about it, I'm passionate about it, I'm starting to understand it, I'm starting to believe in my future, that tomorrow will be better than yesterday, that tomorrow will be better than today, and to move forward. This sextile to Mars is also very motivating, saying now that I'm getting more clarity on my future and what I need to do things better or differently, now that I'm getting more clarity on my future, it is now helping me to do things, Mars, better or differently in support of this. So it's action oriented with the sextile to Mars. And it's not frustratingly action oriented, and it's not impulsive, even though I gotta talk about Mars square Pluto in a second. But this new moon is helping you to finally start to do things and to act and to motivate you in a more positive and pleasant kind of way, where you don't feel like you're struggling. You don't feel like you're fighting against yourself. Okay? I think that it's good. It's good. We're starting to move forward and get the ball rolling. And with this Saturn-Pluto conjunction that's happening in Capricorn, that's been happening for a while, that will continue to happen all of this year, we're starting to see a different future, and because we're seeing this different future and getting excited about it, it is helping us to commit to moving forward, putting our life in some new direction, and making the necessary changes, adjustments, and tweaks in our life that we need in order to put it in some better place, okay? Does that mean that we're not gonna still have hesitations or misgivings about things? No, not at all. Not at all, because we still have Mars in a square with Pluto here. Maybe now I should erase my chart a little bit, just so I don't confuse you all. Or not confuse you, but just so it's more clear to see. We also have Mars here in a square with Pluto while this new moon is happening. This is actually kind of interesting. I'm not quite sure if I know how to make sense of this, because Mars square Pluto, to be honest, can be a little bit of a frustrating alignment. Mars square Pluto is one that can be a little bit hot and bothered about things, can get a little bit frustrated, can be angry, can be jealous, can want to force things. So we've got that as well that's happening. But this new moon here in Aquarius is the opposite. Mars square Pluto is phased by everything, very phased. You said something that angered and upset me. Now I got to get on to you for it. I got to scold you. I got to fight you. I got to tell on you. I got to do. And Aquarius, the new moon in Aquarius is like, okay, you did something you weren't supposed to do, but it's not my job to tell you what to do or what not to do. Aquarius kind of wants to detach and to chill out, while the Mars square Pluto wants to engage and to push things. And so there could be this weird tension here that we might feel where we say, you know what, I see the future, I'm feeling like it's easier for me to move towards this future, but maybe I'm still a little bit scared that it's not all going to come together exactly right, because even though I see the future, I haven't created it in reality yet. I haven't created it in reality yet, especially with Venus, the natural ruler of Taurus, an earth sign that has yet to go through the spot that all these planets have just been through. There could be this feeling of like, oh my gosh, I'm moving there. This is exciting. I'm happy. But wait a second, have I done everything that I need to do? Is this really going to manifest in the real world, or is it going to stay in the mind? That we could be anxious about, wanting to push things, getting angry about, because we sense that somewhere in another part of our life, things aren't quite in alignment with this idea that we now have. And I think with the Mars here in a square with Pluto, needing to, at this new moon, trust and have faith that over time, all of your life will align with your ideas, with what you see. Your third eye, I'm like pointing to my third eye. That everything will align with what you see, and it will all come together, and to not force things. Mars square Pluto can also make you angry and can make you jealous. Well, I wanted this and this other person has that and they got it sooner than me, or they had it a few years ago and I don't have it. And really needing to realize there's no need to be jealous. There's no need to be angry. There's no need to force things. You will do what you need to do. Your life is changing in a big way with Pluto and Capricorn. The direction of your life is changing, and you are going to be able to do the things that you need to put your life in this direction. It's just going to take, again, patience, okay? It's going to take an awareness of how you're acting, of your subconscious thought patterns and behaviors. It's going to take an awareness of that. And it's going to take a little bit more planning, especially with all these planets in Capricorn, Saturn, Pluto in the South Node. That's not going to go away. Planning is still needed, okay? But you're going to get there and you're going to be fine as long as you hold true to the vision. What's that? I think there's a line from the Bible. Without vision, the people will perish. As long as you are clear on what you see for yourself and what you want, you're going to be fine lining everything else behind that, but you need to get the vision first, and then you can start to work with the materials, the reality, in order to create that in a more cool-headed kind of way than if you keep pushing things. So a deep awareness of your subconscious patterns will be necessary so that you can be more enlightened and understanding of those things with the Aquarius influence. All right. So we have that going there. The other thing I want to talk about too that's important, that could also be a little bit of a challenge, is going to be Venus. Venus is in Capricorn at this time. So Venus in Capricorn here, while we're trying to align our life in accordance with some new vision, getting more clarity about our new vision than ever before, but still having lots of work and reality left to do, where do I want to start with? We could be both serious and frustrated as well with relationships, okay? We could be a little bit frustrated with relationships because right before this new moon, Venus was in a square with Uranus and a sextile with Chiron. So right before this new moon, we could have had some unexpected things occur in relationships that could have been jarring, and with money that could have come out of the blue. New or different things with relationships while it was in Sagittarius. New situations with money, new situations with people that we weren't planning on. Maybe we thought we had gotten everything a month or two ago, all the answers we needed about people and relationships, and maybe something else came up that caught you a little bit off guard right before this new moon. Okay, so I think we're coming into this new moon, seeing our future clearly, scared that we're not going to be able to get to that future with some of the things currently at our disposal. Maybe we're a little fearful about our own abilities, even possibly. And then now we're feeling a little bit unsettled by relationships and money, about something new that came up or something unexpected that happened, or maybe even a sudden insight we weren't planning on as well that could have occurred. So there's this weird thing, kind of uneasy. I'm clear about my future. I'm cool-headed. There is a part of my spirit and of my higher mind that knows exactly what needs to happen, that knows exactly what needs to be done. But subconsciously, I'm programmed by old patterns. Subconsciously, I'm fearful. Subconsciously, I want to keep living by an old script, doing things in an old way, and I'm fearful and having to let go of that. And as we're trying to let go of that, weird things are coming up in relationships and money to help catapult us on some new or different journey that may be a little bit unsettling. And we come into this new moon with Venus and Capricorn here saying, okay, how do I take all this crazy stuff that's occurred in relationships and money and begin to organize it for my best interests, and begin to organize it in a practical way that can help support me moving forward to do the things that it is that I want and need. And that, I believe, is where we are. And of course, with Venus coming through this spot in Capricorn, there's going to be a lot about these new things that have come up with relationships and money that we're then going to have to understand, go deeper with, get to the bottom with. We're going to have a lot of fears about relationships and money as well that are going to need to be addressed before it is that we can finally move on. And in the next few months, month or two, especially at the new moon in Pisces, finally start to heal from old situations so that we can embrace the new, feeling more free. All right. So maybe that's what I'll leave there, because I don't want to keep talking in circles. I don't want to confuse you all either, but I love this new moon, especially too with Jupiter in a square with Neptune. It's expansive. It's helping you see all the possibilities before you. It's helping you to discover your heart, your desires, what you need to feel more comfortable in life, more passionate, to enjoy life more, to pay attention to your own personal needs and your heart. It is helping you to do all of that, but we still have subconscious programming from the past that needs to be let go, and we still have more work to be done to bring everything together, okay? To get rid of old things that aren't working for us, to transform old things to be okay with our new direction, and then to bring new things on in addition to the old stuff we're trying to work out, especially new relationships and money here with us as well, so that the old can meet the new, and they can come together and then meet in the present and move forward into the sunset with us. All right, that I think it's all going to come together. Don't freak out. Don't freak out. We're in the midst of a major change in our lives, especially with the Saturn-Pluto conjunction in Capricorn, and the South Node does not happen that often. Saturn's only there once every 30 years in its home sign, doesn't always meet Pluto. So our life this whole year is going to take an entirely different direction than it ever has been before, in a very practical way and in a very public kind of way as well. And it's going to take, all this year. And I think, and it's going to determine our success or our failure for the next 30 years. And this change with the Saturn-Pluto happening all this year is going to totally clean the scores, clean the slate. It's going to wipe out everything from your life in the past 35 years that wasn't right for you, that was hard, that was uncomfortable. It's going to give you a blank slate to then move forward with. And that's kind of what we're doing here. We're realizing the old has to go. We're seeing the new. We're moving more and more and more towards the new, embracing the new more and more and more. But there comes a point that before we can step into the new, the old either has to go or be transformed in order to meet us to where it has to be, to where we need to go. And that's what's happening now. All right, now I'll pull your card. I didn't shuffle it. I know someone sent me an email just saying, you should just shuffle the card in your video. That would help. And I'm like, well, I do shuffle the cards before my videos. Of course, I always do that. And I do it to save time sometimes, but I was like, maybe it might be kind of cool to shuffle. You can see me be awkward with the cards, and I can just kind of chat about whatever comes to my mind. So not so bad. This deck, by the way, I love it. It's one of my favorite decks. It's called the After Tarot. I think you can get it on Amazon. It should be by Lo Scarabo. And it takes all the traditional pictures in the Rider-Waite and it shows what would happen like a few minutes after those things have occurred. All right, sorry, also excuse my shuffles. I like to shuffle this way because it's easier on my hands. Sometimes shuffling the other way hurts my hands a bit because the cards sometimes are kind of big. All right, oops. All right, which one do I want to take? I'm gonna, oh, you know, you just pick them. I just see one and I'm like, that one's mine. That's what I'm going for. Okay, the card for today, for the new moon in Aquarius. Ooh, the Page of Swords. I like it. I like it. This is a good one. To me, the Page of Swords, I think, is a lot about ideas. It's a lot about your mind. It's a lot about your intellect, especially with this Mars-Pluto thing going on. If there is a lot of feelings welling up inside you, if you're starting to feel uncomfortable, perhaps, or there's just something inside you that's a little anxious, I think this card is saying you got to engage your mind. You got to get more of a cool-headed, more of a cerebral perspective on what's going on in your life so that you do not let your feelings get the best of you. Because I think if you can get the cerebral perspective, you're going to get some real gems, some real good ideas that can come from this alignment. Also, the Page of Swords. For some reason, I'm thinking, I actually have another deck, too, that interprets the Page of Swords as like a young genius, a young boy genius, which I like, too. I do. I feel like there are so many sparks of genius like that we're starting to get at this new moon, where all of a sudden things just start to click, where we realize, oh my gosh, I never knew that before. Or, you know, like we've been working on some crazy math equation for the past few years of our life, and we've been like, what's going to happen if I do A plus B or A plus D plus G plus, you know, and it's been so confusing to us. And then it's like finally we get this insane math equation right in our heads, and all the pieces come together and we're filled with that creative spark of understanding something that we didn't understand before, and learning something and putting all of the pieces together. And I think that's where we are now. And I think we have so many insights, but because this is a page, these are just the beginning of these insights that we have. You know, we still have to figure out how to manage, how to handle these things that we're receiving, and how to mature into them. Not that these visions aren't mature of our future. I mean, we have had the past year and a half of the eclipses being in Leo and Aquarius to understand things, to get the higher perspective on our life, to figure some things out. But that things in our life are changing in a big way, and we're finally starting to step into these visions, but they're still so young, and we need to learn how to take all this knowledge that we have and to get the best of it and to handle it so that it does not handle us. It's great to have dreams, it's great to have goals, it's great to have visions, but a vision without a plan can fall apart, can get the best of us, can go by the wayside. And I think really needing to take all your ideas here and to, to put them to use, or to learn how to put them to use, and to wait for them to mature over time and to become more and more crystallized in your life. Yeah, maybe that's all I'll say there, unless the card here. Oh, that's fun. Sometimes I like to look at the card in the bottom of the deck. I think it gives like themes, like to the core of like, what is this card really about? What is the question really about, other than what you think it's about? So I like the bottom of this card too. It's the Hanged Man, the bottom card of the deck. To me, and it's reversed. To me, this is all about getting your life moving once again. Your life is moving once again. Conversations are good. Share your ideas. Disseminate your ideas with other people so that other people can help you understand and move forward and inspire you and excite you here. It's very, very good. Yeah. It's very, very good. But make sure that you learn positive ways, especially with the Knight coming after the Page. Make sure that you eventually learn positive ways to take these insights and to act on them so that they don't get lost. So that is what I've got for you today. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please like it on YouTube, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends, and I will talk to you later.